I say screw the ceasefire between Iran and Israel. I know many of you might have a different view than I do, but I just want to give it to you straight. Listen, we're talking about theocratic Islamists that exist within the group, the mullahs of Iran. It is simply not going to work. A ceasefire is not going to work. I say unleash Israel. Let them finish the job. You guys do realize that the radical Islamists believe in taqiyya, meaning they can lie for their bigger moral goal. So that's what they're going to do. They're not going to abide by a ceasefire because their religion forbids them from doing so. The mullahs of Iran believe that Israel is the little Satan. They believe that the United States of America is the big Satan. Guys, their nuclear program, even though we did a heck of a job destroying it and setting it back for years, it has not been completely dismantled. So I say let Israel finish the job. What do you think they want to do with enriched uranium? Why do you think they wanted ICBMs? That's because they want it to get to us. Guys, listen, I'm going to say something that's going to be really difficult for some people and harsh. It's going to sound harsh, but I want the Iranian people to be free. But I got to say this, it's got to be up to them. And frankly, I think Iran and Israel has to fight. Even if the Iranian people do not become free, listen to me. It's with it's in our best interest as the United States of America to stop that country from obtaining nuclear weapons. This is the Carl Jackson Show. This is your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. Guys, let me just remind you of the Herculean task that happened because this is what we witnessed with Operation Midnight Hammer. Operation Midnight Hammer was one of the greatest, at least in modern history, one of the greatest military feats that we've seen in quite some time. What Trump and his administration have been able to pull off, what Netanyahu and the Israeli forces have been able to pull off, was absolutely nothing short of just, in my opinion, miraculous. Perhaps as military men and people that practice this stuff all the time, they would say this is what we do. But guys, I mean, this was just absolutely astonishing. Now, I know Trump is a little frustrated. He wanted a ceasefire. We got some video for you. Although Gabe will have to edit that a little bit because Trump dropped an F-bomb today. But, I understand that he wants peace. And frankly, the man deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, in my opinion. This is a man, obviously, that brokered the Abraham Accords. He kept Putin in check during his first term. He kept Xi Jinping in check during his first term. He kept Kim Jong-un in check during his first term. So this guy deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, and he doesn't want this to spread beyond dismantling the nuclear program, this current war between Iran and Israel. He doesn't want it to go beyond destroying the United States involvement in destroying the nuclear program. But I just say let Israel finish the job because we don't want them to come for us. And I get it. Trump wants peace, but I figure the way that you render peace and so that we don't have to worry about Iran is just let Israel handle it. Israel, ultimately, they're going to have to be the ones to make the decision. If there's going to be any regime change, I don't believe Americans should be saying that. And honestly, Trump had the legal authority, I'll share this with you, to do what he did as president of the United States because Congress has long ceded their authority when it comes to the War Powers Act. We'll get into that momentarily. But if anybody is going to call for regime change, I think that decision, frankly, belongs to the people of Iran and perhaps Israel. They can bring it about, but not the United States of America. But I don't want to take away from the mission that was absolutely phenomenal. You guys have already heard it. Of course, we now know that there were several B-2 bombers. The U.S. operation that bombed 3 nuclear sites in Iran, Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan at about 6:40 p.m. Eastern. CBS reports 2:10 a.m. in Iran. That was on Friday, or was that Saturday morning? Dropped 2 bunker buster bombs known as the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators, or MOPS, at the site of Fordo over the next 25 minutes. You had Kane, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. They call him Raising Kane. Said a total of 14 MOPS would be dropped on targets at Fordo, Natanz. The Tomahawk missiles landed at Isfahan. Those Tomahawk missiles hit Isfahan first before the MOPS were dropped onto these sites. It was just absolutely amazing. Kane said that no shots were fired at the planes as they left Iranian airspace. Of course, you had two B-2 bombers that served as decoys that flew to Guam, and everybody was paying attention to those instead of the, what was it, 7 B-2 bombers that were flying towards the east. So absolutely phenomenal. Total silence, no leaks whatsoever. And to set the Iranian people back again, at least preliminary reports are that the program has been set back several years at least, but not permanently dismantled. I want it permanently dismantled, except for being able to enrich uranium to the point of electricity and all that kind of stuff coming into the modern age. That's fine with me if they have different leadership in Iran, but I don't want them to be able to have the capacity whatsoever to restore any nuclear weapon capabilities in Iran, at least not with the mullahs in charge, at least not with the ayatollahs in charge. Iran's fighters didn't fly at all. That was another thing. Again, years and years, 46 plus years of these great Iranian fighters and jets and all this kind of stuff. None of this stuff came to fruition. Israel was able to wipe them out pretty quickly. They were able to pave the way for President Trump to be able to do what he and the U.S. military did with these bunker buster bombs. More than 125 U.S. aircraft participated in this particular mission. That includes the B-2 bombers, fighter jets, refueling planes, surveillance aircraft. More than 75 precision guided weapons were used in the attack. And by the way, in the B-2 bombers, 18 hours there, flying from Whiteman Air Force Base in in Missouri. Forget what part of Missouri. I believe that's Kansas City or near Kansas City area. But in Missouri, 18 hours there, 18 hours back, no weapons or no munitions shot at them as far as the U.S. military could tell, undetected. I guarantee you this, China and Russia were paying attention to the aftermath of this, because if we did it to Iran, we could do it to them. Not saying that we would. I believe we're in a different type of World War III, particularly with China. But that's where we stand. Now, there's people arguing that President Trump doesn't have the authority to do what he's doing to engage in war in the Middle East. I want to just dispel that real quick. He is the commander in chief of the obviously of the United States military, and actually Representative Greg Steube. He had it's this from LifeZet.com. It says he destroyed Thomas Massie. Now, I'm not a hater of Thomas Massie. I like Thomas Massie, even if a lot of conservatives don't like Thomas Massie, because I believe that even when he gets some things wrong, he's the canary in the coal mine that I want to be reminded. Sometimes I need a Republican to remind me, don't just go along to get along. And he's really good when it comes to the economy and things like that. He happens to be wrong on this particular issue. And let me just break it down. Basically, Trump and Massie were going back and forth on X, arguing with each other. And Massie was saying that what Trump had done, the operation that was dubbed Operation Midnight Hammer, again, was that tore up the nuclear facilities in Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. Thomas Massie wrote on X, "This is not constitutional," and Trump responded with a lengthy statement, but he responded actually on Truth Social, rejecting Massie's argument and accusing him of political opportunism. Then you had Representative Greg Steube, right here of Florida, that chimed in a public statement directly addressing Massie's claims. And he says, quote, "As a lawyer, a veteran who wore the uniform, and a JAG who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom, I can say unequivocally, you're wrong, Representative Thomas Massie." He says President Trump has full constitutional authority to take military action against Iran's nuclear program without a formal declaration of war. Carl, how can you say that? Well, Article 2, Section 2 empowers the commander-in-chief to use the armed forces to defend national interests and respond to what he considers imminent threats. That's the power that the commander-in-chief has. All right, Steube referenced the War Powers Resolution of 1973. This resolution, provided by Congress, all right, allows the president to engage military forces for up to 60 days, plus an additional 30-day withdrawal period, provided that Congress is notified within 48 hours of initiating military action. So after that 60-day period, plus an additional 30 days to withdraw those people, then the president has to go to Congress They have to decide if the war effort is worth funding or not. It's insane. We've got Jasmine Crockett. We've got Jasmine Crockett out there, uh, absolute chaos, saying that she should have been informed about what was going on in the Middle East. Guys, that is just wrong. That's an impossibility. Stubbe goes on to say, make claims that his actions were unconstitutional, or that Massey's claims that Trump's actions were unconstitutional were simply false. He goes on to say, we all know Iran and its proxies were actively seeking nuclear weapons and targeting American troops and allies. President Trump stepped up and stopped them. I'm glad we have a commander in chief who eliminates terrorists instead of pandering to them like you do, he says, close quote. Now, listen, I, I, I disagree with Thomas Massey on this particular issue. He's good on other issues. We'll be back. Hey guys, Carl Jackson here. As you know, our friend Mike Lindell has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep of your life. He didn't stop by simply creating the best pillow. Mike created the best bed sheets ever. They look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. Mike is offering the best deal on his Giza Dreams bed sheets. You can get any size and any color, just $49.98. That's right. You can even get queens, kings, split kings, and cow kings, any size and any color, just $49.98. Order now, because when they're gone, they're gone. Also, for a limited time, when your order is over $100, you'll receive $100 in free digital gifts. All you have to do is call 1-800-858-0263. Use the promo code Carl. Go to mypillow.com. Make sure you use the promo code Carl, C-A-R-L. I don't spell it like the communists. With an amazing offer of $49.98 on the Giza Dream Sheets, any size and any color. That number again, 1-800-858-0263. Promo code Carl. Okay, so President Trump has the authority, the authority to do exactly what he did when it comes to the strike on Iran's nuclear facilities, and I'm glad he did it. And by the way, I do believe that this was a threat. I do believe that the Iranian mullahs are a threat to America, and I do believe it's in America's best interest. Do I want to go around and start wars all around the world? No, I don't. But people that say and act on destroying America, that say they want to destroy the great Satan, I believe them, especially when they're developing intercontinental ballistic missiles. Why would they be developing intercontinental ballistic missiles except that they want to shoot them at those of us that sit here in the United States of America? So I do believe it was in our best interest. I do trust Trump and the information that he had at his hands and at his disposal. Where I would slightly disagree with the president is I think he should let Israel finish the job. He's upset that the ceasefire right now appears to be holding, but it isn't going to hold. And by the way, man, I got some news that I got to share with you on the auto pin before we get out of here. Now, I trust that Gabe is going to edit this later, but I want to play video clip number 10 because President Trump was pretty hot when he learned that that Israel continued to fire at Iran and vice versa. This is cut number 10. This is what President Trump had to say about the current ceasefire that actually right now seems to be working. It just won't work for long. And I explained why at the very beginning of the program. Perhaps I'll refresh your memory momentarily, but cut number 10, por favor, Gabe.
Israel says that Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the f they're doing. Do you understand that?
All right, so pretty harsh words from Trump, but understandable. He's frustrated. However, I understand Israel's position. I do believe that Israel has to be very smart, very wise, in how they fight. I don't want them to extend themselves, their weaponry, so on, etc. But I think they need to eliminate the threat. The threat is right in their backyard, not in our backyard. But Trump doesn't want to be tied to an ongoing war in the Middle East. He wants to bring peace to the Middle East, just like he had towards the end of his first term. And I completely understand that. But I believe the way in which President Trump can bring peace to the Middle East is to let Israel destroy Iran, perhaps talk to Netanyahu. Let's get this thing on the timeline. Let's get her done. Now, whether or not there should be regime change, I don't think Americans should be saying that. Frankly, yes, I believe it's up to the Iranian people. I don't know if they even are ready for it at this point. If they want it, I hear a lot of them want it. I hear that, but it's one thing to say that, and it's one thing to march in the streets and get ready to die. Now, they've done that before, and we didn't back them, unfortunately, under the Obama administration, under the Biden administration. They've done that before. So perhaps this will be an opportunity. You even have Israel bombing that Evans prison, where basically you had political prisoners. That was symbolic. Israel's like, listen, we're releasing the political prisoners for you. So if this is going to happen, but I think it should be on Israel's back as to whether or not there should be regime change in the region, because ultimately they're going to be the beneficiaries of it or the victims of it. So I believe that's their call to make. But hopefully we wouldn't get someone in that's worse than the Ayatollah that wants to destroy the great Satan. So that's just something to think about. Now, I want to go back to, not go back to, but I want you guys to listen to this video. This is Jasmine Crockett, Representative Jasmine Crockett. Which video is that? Video number 11. Jasmine Crockett. Remember, Democrats are all about political theater. Here's what she had to say. She was upset that she wasn't told. About the plans to bomb Iran's nuclear facilities. Go ahead and play this. I'll respond to it afterwards.
Question is, ceasefire. What up with it? I know nothing because this man lies and governs by Truth Social. So I have no idea. All we know is what we get on the reporting, which supposedly part of the ceasefire includes Israel stopping what they're doing. And so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So I don't get Israel briefings. At this point, I'm not getting U.S. briefings. So I don't know. I don't know that I would believe it. I think we will know when we get reports that ain't nobody else being attacked.
I can't stand that chick. I'll just be straight up with you. It actually isn't the video that I thought it was. She was writing in a card in another video and talking about how she wasn't getting the briefings. I wouldn't tell her where I had my bubble gum. It would be out in 2 seconds. 2 seconds. And you're talking about people's lives that are at stake. I'm sorry. I wouldn't share anything. Again, the president has the authority. As Representative Greg Steube, as a lawyer, veteran, and a JAG who served in, again, Operation Iraqi Freedom under the War Powers Resolution in 1973. This allows the president to engage military forces for up to 60 days. That's something that he can do. If Congress wants to change that, if they want to take back their power, they can do that. Meanwhile, we literally every president in modern American history, whether it's Bill Clinton, whether it's Barack Obama, even bombing a former a professor from USF in our neck of the woods when he was for somewhere in the Middle East. And frankly, I didn't have a problem with it. A lot of people were upset with it, but that was one of the bombings that I didn't mind because he was an Islamist, a radical from the University of South Florida in Tampa. And he went to the Middle East to help ISIS or one of these Al-Qaeda. They're all the same, virtually, to help out one of those groups. And he ended up getting bombed in the Middle East. And obviously, a lot of people were up in arms because that was an American. And why did we bomb an American citizen in a different region? It's because he was trying to kill Americans. So I was okay with that. But But all of that to say, all of these presidents have done that. Now, if Congress wants that to change, then I guess they can take back their power. I don't think that's going to happen. Frankly, Congress is so weak and feckless. I don't think they don't want that to happen because they don't want the blame. They don't want to. They don't want to vote for a war. They don't want to say yay and nay. I'd like to get some of them on the record, frankly. But a president, again, has 60 days and then 30 days, I guess, to draw any skirmish down or kinetic activity down. And after that point, then he's got to go to Congress and he's got to ask for money to proceed. And so that's where it stands. But as far as Jasmine Crockett is concerned, I'm not telling her a doggone thing. It makes no sense. All right, now let me give you guys this news just real quick. I want to make sure that I touch on this, and then I'll get back to it another day. Ex-Biden aide Neera Tanden, hat tip Washington Examiner, has tells Oversight Committee she was authorized to use the auto pin. Now, some of you may or may not think that's a big deal. I think it's a huge deal in light of the fact that we now know, well, I knew, and you knew if you were listening to podcasts like mine or shows like mine, that Biden has been a dementia patient from ever since he was running for the presidency, not just president, running for the presidency. A top former aide to former President Biden testified behind closed doors on Tuesday for more than 4 hours as part of the House Oversight Committee's investigation into his mental fitness to serve and his White House's use of an auto pen, confirming that she was authorized to use the automatic signature device while pushing back on concerns about alleged manipulation or malfeasance. Neera Tanden, Neera Tanden, who served as director of the White House Domestic Policy Council, explained in her opening remarks that she was given authority to wield the auto pen. She said she was, quote, responsible for handling the flow of documents to and from the president, close quote, and was authorized to direct auto pen used from October 2021 to May 2023 when she was serving as staff secretary and senior advisor to Biden. Well, Carl, what's the big deal? All of these people in the White House, or many of these people, are these aides, or certain aides, are allowed to use the auto pen on the president's behalf. Yeah, as long as the president is aware. And that's the question, whether or not the president was aware and she was allowed to, quote unquote, wield the auto pen. What does that mean? More on this on a later date. This is the Carl Jackson Show. Until next time, don't grow weary, doing good.